Hold up, Doug wanna play some new shit.
The top 10 greatest Premier League teams of all time. Before I get into the ranking, I have a few qualifiers to outline. I will be grouping sides together over a few seasons if I think the squad didn't change that much. That way I avoid having sides like Manchester United 07-08 and the United side of 08-09 on the list together, which would be counterintuitive as I think you can consider them the same side over the course of 2 or 3 seasons. So Manchester City 2017-2018 and Manchester City 2018-2019 will be considered one team and therefore grouped together on the list. Also, I am judging sides not just on the Premier League, but also how they competed in Europe, because obviously if you are only focused on the league, you have an advantage over sides who maybe went deep into the Champions League or FA Cup in a particular season. But before I get into the list, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and if you disagree with any of my placements, leave it as a comment in the comment section below rather than giving the video a dislike. And obviously if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like it as well. So beginning the list at number 10 is Manchester City's 2011-2012 side. They were the first title winning side of Manchester City's big boom financial era. They amassed 89 points, winning the league on goal difference after scoring an incredible 93 goals. This was probably Kompany, Hart and Zabaletta's best seasons, with Yaya Toure having an outstanding season from central midfield, providing an attacking threat of a top class attacking midfielder, but playing in a midfield too alongside Nigel de Jong. Mancini's narrow 4-4-2 shape allowed the offensive system to have Silva and Nasri move into central positions, whilst they also had 4 striking options to choose from in Aguero, Balotelli, Dzeko and Carlos Tevez. They were one of the best title winning sides to watch, but I think this City side really lacked a top class tactical manager like a Mourinho or a Guardiola to make them successful over a sustained period of time and in Europe as well. So on to number 9, we have Chelsea 2014-2015. So they got 87 points, only lost 3 games in the Premier League. I don't think they were as good as Mourinho's first Chelsea side, but in their 4-2-3-1 shape, this Chelsea side dominated the Premier League that season, with Cesc Fabregas having one of the best seasons from central midfield in Premier League history, getting 18 assists and Matic being phenomenal as a ball winner next to him. Costa was a battering ram up front, and Hazard really broke out and became the world-class player he'd been shaping up to be over the previous seasons, getting the PFA Player of the Year award. They weren't able to challenge in Europe unfortunately, going out in a round of 16 to PSG, and they couldn't sustain their high levels, with the collapse coming early the next season, which is why this Chelsea side cannot be considered a great Premier League title winner in my opinion. So number 8 is Manchester United 2006-2007. I didn't include this season with the 2007-08 and the 08-09 seasons, as I feel that the whole squad moved up another level in those seasons, so this was like the prequel season to that. But this was still a great year. They won the Premier League title and got to the FA Cup final, and only an extra time Drogba goal denied them. The Champions League semi-finals they lost to AC Milan, but they still got to the last 4. They got 89 points, 5 draws, 5 losses, and it was the first season both Rooney and Ronaldo really burst out as world-class players, with Ronaldo coming second in the Ballon d'Or in 2007 and also winning the PFA Player of the Season in the 2006-2007 season. Ferdinand, Vidic, Evra, Van der Sar and Carragher were all coming into their peak, with Scholes as well in the midfield being excellent that season. So at number 7 we have Chelsea 2009-2010. This side scored over 100 goals and were one of the best attacking sides in Premier League history. Lampard and Drogba both scored over 20 goals that season, with Drogba at his peak scoring 29, whilst Lampard came through with 22 goals from midfield. They beat Wigan 8-0, Aston Villa 7-1, Stoke 7-0 and Sunderland 7-2, so you can see what a great attacking side they were. They got knocked out to the eventual champions Inter Milan in the Champions League quarter-finals, and despite doing a double after winning the FA Cup, they, like many other Premier League champions, couldn't sustain this level, and Ancelotti was sacked at the end of the next season. So number 6 might be surprising to many people that they are so low in the list, but it's the Arsenal 2003-2004 Invincible side. It was close between the Chelsea 2010 side and this Arsenal side, as both did relatively the same thing in Europe and were equally impressive in my opinion in the Premier League. I do think they were overrated to a degree because of the undefeated thing, which whilst impressive doesn't mean a lot when you consider that a few sides have actually got more points than them, such as Chelsea in 2004-2005 who only lost 1 game that season but got 95 points and went further in Europe. They are the only Premier League team to go undefeated all season though. They got 90 points. They had Thierry Henry at his best. He won the PFA Player of the Season and was probably the best player in the world that season as well. He scored 30 goals in the Premier League and was probably up there with Ronaldo 08 and Suarez 13-14 as one of the best individual seasons in Premier League history. The midfield was not just dynamic and powerful but also technically top class, with Vieira and Gilberto Silva playing in the midfield double pivot, and Pires and Bergkamp were two of the best creative players in Premier League history. However, they didn't progress far enough in the Champions League, getting knocked out by Chelsea at the quarter-finals. Whilst they did go undefeated, this league did have a declining Manchester United side in it, a Chelsea side who hadn't yet asserted their new financial power, and Liverpool weren't at the top of their game either that season as well. Also, this wasn't sustained over a few seasons like some of the others higher up on this list. So at 5 we've got Manchester City 2017-18 and 2018-19. I included this above the Invincibles as despite not going unbeaten, this City side became the first side in Premier League history to break the 100-point barrier mark, only lost 2 games and scored over 100 goals and conceded just 27. Guardiola really took this side to another level, with Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne, Fernandinho and Aguero all having world-class campaigns. I think that they were actually better in 2018-19 despite getting less points. They got 98 points, which would have broke the previous record that Chelsea had in 2004-2005 of 95 points again if they hadn't broken it the previous season. However, over the course of the 2 years, they did struggle with big games in Europe as they lost to Liverpool in 2017-18 and Tottenham the next season, which stops them being higher up on this list. Also, I think the Premier League these seasons wasn't as good as a period between 2006 and 2012, so that has to be considered as well. So number 4 on this list is this current Liverpool side from 2018-19 to 2019-20. They would have won the league any other season that Pep Guardiola wasn't there, as they got 97 points in the 2018-2019 season. They did win the Champions League, beating Barcelona in the semis as well. This season they've gone to a completely another level and were unfortunate to get knocked out of the Champions League in my opinion due to Adrian's terrible performance. They are on course to get 2 95 points plus seasons in a row, and they have players like Van Dijk, who is definitely in the top 3 centre-backs in Premier League history of all time. Salah and Mane are both world class, and Klopp's system is what is really allowing this side to perform like this, so most of the credit has to go to him because he completely transformed this Liverpool side. So next up on the list in 3rd place is Chelsea 04-05 and 05-06. In 2004-2005, this Chelsea side amassed 95 points in Mourinho's debut season, which was a record at the time, and they only conceded 15 goals all season, which is astonishing, and only lost 1 game throughout the whole of the Premier League season. They got to the Champions League semi-final and only went out due to Luis Garcia's goal that didn't actually cross the line but was given anyway. The next season in 2005-2006, they once again won the league with 91 points, 22 goals conceded, and losing 2 games after they'd already won the league as well, so they could have potentially broke the record again. They went out to eventual champions Barcelona in the Champions League, but this was when Lampard was at his peak. He came second for the Ballon d'Or in 2005 and was Chelsea's biggest goal scoring threat from midfield. They also had Terry, who was probably at his peak as well when he won the 2004-2005 Player of the Season in the Premier League. They had prime Cech, Makelele protecting the back 4, and had they had someone like Ronaldo, Suarez or Henry in the side, I think they would have gone to the next level and probably won the Champions League and probably be considered the best Premier League side of all time. So at number 2 now we have the Manchester United side from 98-99, 99-2000 and 2000-2001, and I've grouped them all together on this list because they had pretty much the same main players throughout these 3 seasons. So even though in the 99 season they only got 79 points, they were undefeated from Boxing Day onwards. Out of 20 games they won 14 and drew 6 towards the end of the season, whilst also competing in 3 competitions, which is pretty impressive. They beat Juventus in the semi-finals, a side who had been to 3 consecutive finals in the previous 3 seasons of the Champions League. They had players like Jaap Stam at centre-back. Beckham and Keane were in their prime. Beckham actually came second for the Ballon d'Or that season. They had York and Cole in the side, who were scoring near 20 league goals a season at that time. Giggs was on the left, and also they had Solskjaer and Sheringham to come off the bench, and they made the difference in the Champions League final that year in 99. And then this side became the first Premier League side to win 3 back-to-back Premier League titles when they won it in 2000 and 2001, which is something that's only been replicated once by another United side. And I think it's this consistency over the 3 seasons, success in Europe and individual talent in the squad which makes this United side better than, say, the Guardiola City teams or the Invincibles at Arsenal. So now on to the number 1 spot. It's the Manchester United 2007-2008 and 2008-2009 side. They nearly did the treble in 2007-2008 but only got knocked out of the FA Cup because Cusack got sent off versus Portsmouth, forcing Ferdinand to go in goal, and obviously they went out. And that year it was actually Barnsley, West Brom and Cardiff also in the last 4. So United, had they got through this quarter-final tie against Portsmouth, would probably have gone on to win the FA Cup and actually do the treble again. They got 87 points in 2007-2008 in the Premier League and conceded just 22 goals. The next season they got 90 points in 2008-2009. They won the Champions League in 2008 as well, the season previous, and then got to the final again in 2009. And that year they lost the final to one of the greatest sides in history, which was Pep Guardiola's Barcelona side with the likes of Samuel Eto'o, Thierry Henry and Lionel Messi in the side. And they also got to the semi-finals of the FA Cup that season as well, got knocked out by Everton on penalties, and they also won the League Cup as well that season. Not to mention that in the 08-09 season they actually kept 14 straight clean sheets. They had Vidic and Ferdinand, probably both in the top 5 greatest central defenders in Premier League history. In defence they had Van der Sar and Evra, who were also in the conversation for being the greatest Premier League players in their position. They had Prime, Scholes, Hargreaves and Carragher in centre midfield as well. They had Ronaldo, who won the Ballon d'Or that year, as well as Rooney, Tevez and Berbatov also in the squad, and they used a 4-3-3, so they had probably one of the greatest front lines in Premier League history as well. And I think that their success over those 2 years, not just in the Premier League, in all those competitions, in the League Cup as well, but in Europe they were definitely the dominant side in 2007-2008, but also got back to the final the next year, which is never easy, especially when you're winning the Premier League. And they did this all when the Premier League was at its peak in terms of the quality, in my opinion, from about 2006 to about 2010, and they actually dominated the league and dominated Europe as well to an extent. They got to the semi-finals as well in the 2006-2007 season, and then they got back to the final as well later on in 2011. But for me, I would say the greatest Premier League side of all time is definitely the Manchester United 2007-2008 and 2008-2009 side managed by Sir Alex Ferguson. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that sort of video, remember to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.
Right here, if you can communicate this product, you can make money off the product. Because look at Gaga. She's the creative director of Polaroid. I like some of the Gaga songs. What the fuck does she know about cameras?